Michael Bisping shares thoughts on Khamzat Chimaev's potential and his next fight against Robert Whittaker. The Chechen middleweight contender is set to clash with the former champion on UFC 308 in a co-headliner bout for Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. Chimaev's image and stock inside the sport has been an unstable one. In a relatively short period of time, he managed to turn from the hottest prospect in the whole company into an unreliable character that seemed to not be able to avoid problems that interfered with the progression of his career. From weight cut issues and health scares to travel problems, his fast rise was significantly slowed down with different barriers. Still a dangerous and an exciting contender, he is now scheduled to take on a formidable challenge in the face of Robert Whittaker. Rob has looked excellent in his last octagon appearances following his loss to Duplessis. How Khamzat will look after a long layoff in his first 5-round fight is under a question. Michael Bisping comments on this.
A bit of a hothead, a bit of a maniac, and like emotionally unstable, which there's certainly zero judgment there because I've been guilty of that in the past as well, you know, but that was always the thing. Is Khamzat locked in? Is he dialed in? Is he distracted? Is he feeling the pressure? Is he doing what he needs to do? If he does do, and I've heard also from sources that he is, that this is like a new version of Khamzat. You know, and if it is, then Jesus Christ, the fight for Robert Whittaker just got even tougher because, like, in the first round, he is ridiculous. Nobody picks up Kamaru Usman and dominates him the way that he did. Look what he did to Gilbert Burns in the first round. And look what he does to everybody else in the first round. Picking up Li Jingliang, having a conversation with Dana. You know, it's unreal. It's unreal. But it's over 5 rounds. It's a 5-round co-main event. Can he sustain that over 5? Because he couldn't sustain it over 3.
Belal Muhammad assesses Shavkat Rakhmonov's skills and the level of danger that he will present to him in the octagon. The two are set to clash on December 7 as the newly crowned welterweight champion will attempt to successfully defend his title for the first time. Before the official announcement, it wasn't clear that Rakhmonov was going to be next challenger, despite having accumulated an impressive winning streak. There was speculation of Kamaru or even Colby possibly getting the fight, and the name value of Belal and Shavkat wasn't something that really excited UFC to make this a headliner at the end of the year. But having run out of all other options for title fight headliners, and the losses on Kamaru's and Colby's records in their last fights pushed the brass to give Shavkat his well-deserved title shot. Stylistically an interesting matchup, this one promises a potentially intense and closely contested battle, both in the striking and grappling areas. While speaking with Submission Radio, Belal previewed the fight, commented on Shavkat's skills, and gave a prediction.
Shavkat's the guy that everybody was looking at, right? He's the scariest guy that they say he's in the division. He's the undefeated guy. Finishes everybody, so I just think that it made the most sense. And also for myself, right? I'm trying to leave a legacy of being the best welterweight to ever do it, and to do that I have to have one of the best resumes to ever do it. And when you look at my resume now, I have so many big names, huge names on there, and I think adding him to the list, there's no denying me after that, right? There's no, like, even with the Leon fight, it's like, oh, well, this guy, you know, the time change affected him, this affected him. With Wonder Boy is this, with Gilbert is this, there's always excuses. But with Shavkat, I don't think there's going to be any excuses. He finishes everybody, right? He does that to everybody, walks through everybody. So now let's see what happens when he walks through a wall.
Corey Sandhagen doesn't like Sean O'Malley seemingly avoiding a fight with him and already has an alternative plan in case the former bantamweight champion does in fact choose another opponent. The Sandman has been clear about his intention to come back to competition as soon as possible in order to rewrite his loss to Umar Nurmagomedov and put himself back on track for a championship bout, with MERAB not knowing who the next title challenger is, as Umar versus Song Yadong was recently announced due to Umar not willing to fight Dvalishvili during Ramadan but still wishing to get one more fight in before the end of the year, and Jan versus Figgy also being lined up. Corey is running out of options, and the most exciting one for him and for the fans at this time is the O'Malley bout. This is something he wants locked in as soon as possible, but there's one problem. Sean doesn't seem to be interested in the matchup, as he has made no comments about the potential clash with Corey recently. Sandman reacts to this and lays out alternative options in case the O'Malley bout doesn't take place.
There really isn't anyone else to fight. Henry's talking about going to 25, and he says all kinds of shit all the time that he sometimes follows through with and then sometimes doesn't. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, man. I feel like O'Malley's really the only guy to fight. Maybe the winner of Jan and Figgy, if O'Malley's going to be weird and still not bring me up or mention that fight or anything like that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Kind of sucks when you get, I mean, dude, I just spent like a whole year sitting out. Like I kind of want I wanted to rattle off some fights. I know that that's really important to people. Like, you get your face out there more, man. People start to catch on a lot more too. So I wanted to be really active, but there's really no one to fight. So
Jon Jones pleasantly surprises fans with his comments on fighting Tom Aspinall, as he seems to have changed his mind about retirement following his upcoming bout against Stipe. Bones had made it no secret that he was not only seriously considering to hang up the gloves after November, but that this was the most likely scenario. His body of work obviously speaks for itself, when judged by anyone with a relatively good understanding of the sport, being past his athletic prime and the potentially interesting contenders never running out anyway, as it is natural for any combat sport. Seemed to have swayed Jon towards deciding to call it a career with the defense against Stipe, effectively securing the GOAT status even more. Looks like Bones has changed his decision and wants to silence all haters by sticking around for at least one more fight against the interim heavyweight champion, who many hope will give Jon his first defeat. In the latest interview, Jones revealed he is interested in fighting Tom and predicted it could either be a war or a simple victory for him. The heavyweight champion shared that as his fighting camp progresses, he feels greater by the moment and might not be ready to retire just yet.
I'm excited for Tom. It could be an absolute war, and I feel like I need to take one step at a time before seeing what I do next. But I feel just totally like reinvigorated and just re-energized. So I'm like, I can't just walk away. So
Sean O'Malley is still not over his loss to MERAB and tries to make a case against him, not only getting dominated in the fight, but losing on judges' scorecards. The former bantamweight champion displayed how he copes with a loss suffered inside the octagon, following his first defeat, which happened in his first bout against Chito Vera. The semi-humorous attitude in not recognizing the loss and still considering himself undefeated, as he believed Marlon just got lucky to have landed the leg kick onto a perfect position on his calf, rubbed a portion of fandom the wrong way, while his fans naturally just went along with it. This time, shortly after losing to MERAB, he tried to argue that he actually won the fight, and while no good argument can be made for this, he used the narrative to keep himself in the headlines, and in an attempt to not lose the image of a special talent in the division. Now he seems to believe that he actually has a case to argue that he didn't lose to Dvalishvili. Never mind, get dominated. Sean claims that after receiving overwhelmingly negative commentary for his performance after the bout, he didn't even want to rewatch it for a while, but now he is confident he didn't get dominated and even thinks he won.
I'm this far removed. I feel like I'm somewhat over it. It still bothers me a little bit. The first 2 weeks after, oh, it drove me crazy. Like, especially because the narrative was, I just got my ass whooped. And I went, and I didn't even want to rewatch the fight because everyone was saying, oh, you got fucking smoked. You look like shit. I was like, God, I don't even want to watch the fight. And I know I would learn a lot from it. I still need to rewatch it a few times. But I rewatched the fight. And my biased, no, we'll say my unbiased, humble opinion, I mean, the judges gave me around 3 and 5. That means he won 2 and 4, which I'm not arguing. He for sure won round 2 and 4. I don't understand how you give me round 3, but not round 1. I thought round 1 was more of my round than round 3 even. I thought I won round 1, 3, and 5, let alone didn't get my ass kicked. Round 2 and 4, he definitely won.